Yo, what's up? They call me Carter Cash. You can follow me on Instagram at Carter Cash or on Twitter at Carter Cash 23. What I want to do right now is get straight into breaking down the fight. May 2nd, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. This is the biggest fight in boxing history and possibly the biggest sporting event ever. And it's finally going to happen. You know, there are no losers in this. Everyone's going to be a winner. The fighters are going to make more money than they've ever made. And the fans, the public, we get to see what's been long awaited. You know, this fight has been 5, 6 years in the making now, and it's finally going to happen. Getting straight into breaking down the fight, man. You know, both fighters are amazing talents and probably they are the best fighters of their era, which is why this fight is so big and it's so important that it has to happen. They're both amazing talents. You know, Floyd Mayweather comes from a fighting family. You know, a long history of fighters. His uncle was a fighter, world champion. His father was a fighter. He actually had two uncles that were fighters. He has a set of gifts that you can't teach a fighter. You know, as well as Manny Pacquiao, who's just an amazing talent. You know, coming from the Philippines, he brings so much to the table that's just different. That it's hard to prepare for. You know, being left-handed, punching from awkward angles, his aggression. He's very difficult. He's very difficult to deal with, you know. So coming straight into the fight, we have two different dynamics. We have a pure boxer in Floyd Mayweather and an aggressive guy in Manny Pacquiao who's there to take the fight to you. He's not, he can box. He does possess boxing skills, but he's there to fight, which creates that dynamic of the classic boxer and the fighter, the guy that wants to fight, going toe to toe. You always wonder what's going to happen. You know, you look back at the very first fight between Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, it created a great fight. You know, Ray Leonard came up on the short end of the stick in the first fight, but the differences in styles made such a great fight. With the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight, my prediction is that Floyd Mayweather comes out on top once again, as he's always done in his career. Predicting a fight, you know, and just with my knowledge and history in boxing, predicting a fight, you almost have to look at what the fighters have done in the past to predict the future. You know, how do they handle certain situations? What do they do in that situation to predict the fight? I don't like to go and say, well, for this fight, he's going to... Chances are, if you've done something for so long, so many years, you're not going to break that habit, or you're not going to just magically start doing something differently because you got a big fight. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's highly unlikely to see a guy do something he's done one way for so long to just start doing it differently now. So we're just going to take the past and go into making our prediction for the future. History just repeats itself. Both guys have a set of skills that they bring to the table that can bring them to victory. You know, with Floyd Mayweather, I look at he's a pure boxer. He has great defense, possibly the greatest defensive fighter of all time, if not for sure the best in his era. You rarely see him get hit. I mean, he get hit so little that it's a big deal when he does get hit. You know, people are still talking about a punch with Shane Mosley from 2009. I think it was 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. Years ago, he got hit with a punch, and people are still talking about it today. That's how rarely it is he gets hit. You know, sometimes he catches a punch on his shoulder and the crowd, oh, but he really didn't get hit. But for example, you take in that Shane Mosley fight, you see him get hit with a good shot twice. Buckled his knees. He was hurt, you know, but he responded to that. That's what boxing is about. Not so much how you get hit, it's how you respond to getting hit. You know, I seen him get smarter, stronger, and faster as the fight went on. He took that punch away. What hurt him, he recognized and took that away. He didn't get hit with it again. You didn't see him hurt again. You know, so for me, that's a big deal. That shows intelligence. That shows the ability to stay calm, cool, collected, and think through adversity. Manny Pacquiao, we've seen him in situations where he didn't come out on top. You know, we've seen him get knocked out last by Marquez, which wasn't nothing special. I mean, just Manny Pacquiao came straight in, and Marquez timed him for a right hand that put him down, which wasn't the first time he wasn't able to finish a fight. He's also been stopped twice before that. He's been stopped 3 times in his career, so he has lost, and this plays into the mental aspect that goes into the game, where when you know you can lose, you know you've lost before. It's a very different approach, and it's a different feel for a guy who doesn't know what it is to lose. You know, Floyd doesn't know what it is to lose. He's always made the right adjustment. He's always been on top. So for him, he just has to look at it as, if I do what I've always done, I'll be on top. Where Manny Pacquiao has to take the approach that he got to do something no one's ever done in defeating Floyd. So you get this different dynamic. But ultimately, back to the boxing aspect of it, they both are talented. They're both very, very great fighters. And I don't believe that the talent and skills within the ring, as far as the fighting goes, I don't believe that that's going to be the deciding factor. I believe what's going to decide this fight is the mental aspect, the thinking and playing that out within the ring. It's a chess game. It's really chess with gloves on. That's why they call it boxing. Otherwise, they just call it fighting. It's an art to hit and not be hit back. That's what boxing is. And no one has mastered that concept better in this era today than Floyd Mayweather. So for me to take that away from him, I just can't. I just believe Manny will be overmatched mentally. I believe early on in the fight he has a shot. The first 3 to 4 rounds he has a shot. If he can catch Floyd or throw him off balance early, he does have a shot. But after that, I believe it's going to be a very difficult fight for him. Once Floyd adjusts to the things he does well and the things, he's going to take that away from him from the gate. Whatever you do well, Floyd will not let you do that. He's going to take that away from Manny, and I don't believe Manny can make the adjustment. I believe he's one-dimensional, and you know what you're going to get. With Floyd, we've seen time after time, he can walk a fighter down if you have to. Look at the Zab fight. He didn't box Zab. He walked Zab down. He said, I'm walking him down. I'm going to apply pressure, and we're going to get him out of here. You look at the Victor Ortiz fight. He knew Victor couldn't fight backing up, so he walked to Victor. Or then you look at another fight where Canelo Alvarez, a guy that was bigger than him, walked into the fight weighing 170 pounds that night. He didn't walk Canelo down. He boxed Canelo. So this is a guy we know that can fight different styles, different ways, and do what he has to do to win. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's kind of hard for me to bet against him or go against him until I see somebody prove me wrong. But I believe the mental aspect and the ability to think in the ring and setting traps and just things that I believe the casual fan doesn't get or doesn't pick up on. I believe those will be the deciding factors in the fight, and I really think it's going to be a very one-sided massacre of a fight for Floyd. I just believe he's going to take Manny apart. I just believe that Manny's going to run into the shots and he won't be able to make the adjustments. I see the left hook to the body for Floyd and the timing of straight right hands, lead right hands, just being too much for Manny Pacquiao to adjust to, because I believe it's going to come at weird times, just the timing of the shots. Floyd's great at placing shots. He places shots perfectly. I just believe that's going to be too much for Manny Pacquiao. But Manny's an amazing talent. He's a fighter. A lot of people like to take into play too. Manny has the ability to end the fight with one shot. You only take one punch to end the fight. But that works both ways. That works both ways as well. I believe both fighters have great punching power. I don't believe the concept that Floyd can't punch. If Floyd couldn't punch, these guys would just run him over. A guy in Canelo Alvarez at 170 pounds the night of the fight would have just walked through whatever Floyd was throwing if he didn't have any power. So I'm not going to buy that. And then we taking the play. I know guys who've been in the ring with both guys who, from what I've heard, they punch about the same. Punching power is about the same. But I don't believe that'll play a factor in the fight either way. It's going to come down to the smarter fighter. I believe the smarter fighter wins this fight and comes out on top. It's a thinking man's game at the end of the day. And that's just in life in general. The smarter person always wins. Always be the smartest one in the ring. And in this case, always be the smartest one in the ring. I'll be out there for the fight. I'm going to be showing y'all some crazy videos because it's going to be a great evening. I'm going to do some things out there, man. But everybody tune in May 2nd. I believe standard is $89.99. HD will be $99.99. If you can't, or you're not fortunate enough to get a ticket to the fight, you can order it. I believe only MGM properties will be showing it in Vegas. But we look forward. This is the biggest fight in history, and we less than a month away now. So everybody fasten your seatbelts on. If you betting your money against Floyd, I'll take it. You can hit me up on my email, motc23@gmail. I'm taking all bets. Let's get this money, baby. But aside from that, let's just everybody enjoy this. It's gonna be a great night for boxing. It's gonna be a great night for sports. I believe for those 3 to 4 hours, crime will cease to exist. Everybody will be watching this fight. It's gonna be a great thing. It's gonna be a very big spectacle, man. So I look forward to it. Everybody, give me your comments, give me your views on the fight. Let me know what you guys think. Till then, catch y'all at the next great fight. I think it's gonna be Amir Khan.